The SNP is demanding the UK government pay Scotland billions of pounds in compensation for the economic impact on the country from Brexit, while again ramping up calls for a second referendum on Scottish independence. Britain finally completed its full exit from the EU on New Year's Eve following the conclusion of an 11-month transition period, which also saw the two sides conclude post-Brexit trade deal talks and announce an agreement on Christmas Eve. The departure ends 47 years of EU membership and comes 4.5 years after the UK voted to leave the bloc historic referendum. But Scotland had voted by a margin of 62% to 38% to remain in the EU during that referendum and has since continued to launch scathing attacks against the UK government, with Nicola Sturgeon often claiming the departure from the EU has been made against the will of the Scottish people. The SNP has also ramped up its demands for a second referendum on Scottish independence, which Ms Sturgeon claimed could take place after the Scottish elections in May, should the party secure a majority. Boris Johnson has rejected all calls for a new referendum, insisting the result from the vote in 2014 must be honoured. The Scottish government has warned new changes to customs and exports following Brexit could cost the UK up to £7 billion each year, while Constitution Secretary Mike Russell has also warned Scotland's GDP could plummet by as much as 6% over the next 10 years. The SNP's Westminster leader Ian Blackford said, "It is completely unforgivable that Scotland is being forced to pay such a devastating high price for Boris Johnson's extreme Tory Brexit deal, with mounting costs, red tape and disruption. The Tories must apologise to Scottish businesses and pay compensation to Scotland for the long-term damage they are doing to our economy, costing us billions in lost trade and growth. This disastrous Tory Brexit was a completely unnecessary act of economic vandalism, which has been inflicted against Scotland's will. It is now beyond doubt that the only way to protect Scotland's interests and our place in Europe is to become an independent country, with businesses, industries and communities across Scotland warning of rising costs, bureaucracy and delays. It is clear Boris Johnson's Brexit deal has already left the UK poorer and worse off, with absolutely no benefits to Scotland at all. Every promise has been broken," the SNP's Westminster leader added. The UK government must now provide an urgent multi-billion pound package of compensation to Scotland to mitigate the lasting Brexit harm done to Scottish businesses, industries and communities, he said. Scotland has been completely ignored by Westminster throughout the Brexit process. People in Scotland have the right to determine our own future, protect our interests, and regain the full benefits of EU membership as an independent country. But the compensation demands from the SNP have sparked a furious reaction from political rivals. Scottish Tory Constitution spokesman Dean Lockett accused Ms Sturgeon's party of stirring up grievances, especially when the country's government has received hundreds of millions of pounds from Westminster. He claimed the SNP are sitting on more than £700 million of additional covered business support funding they have received from Chancellor Rishi Sunak, adding not a single penny of this has yet been delivered to firms struggling massively from lockdown restrictions. Mr Lockett said, more than 4 years after the vote to leave the EU, the SNP have failed in their duty to support firms in Scotland in getting ready for the new trading arrangements. They are not being transparent about where they have spent the significant funding they have received in preparation money from the UK government. The SNP are also sitting on more than £700 million of additional covered business support funding that has recently come from the UK Chancellor. Not a single penny of this has yet been delivered to firms struggling massively from lockdown restrictions. Mr Lockett also branded continued demands from the SNP for a second referendum on Scottish independence reckless, particularly during the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Scottish Tory Constitution spokesman added, and on Brexit, the SNP should be actively helping Scottish firms deal with the new arrangements instead of sitting on the sidelines and using the situation to create yet further divisions.